Erev Tov, good evening. Today being the 16th day of the Omer, we're now going to learn the 16th step in acquiring Torah, gaining greater levels and depth. So yesterday we learned about, it was Mi'ut Schora, Hazaku Baruch. Mi'ut Schora, diminishing the amount of business a person does because it overoccupies a person's mind and time, as we learned yesterday. Today, the 16th, is Mi'ut Shena. Mi'ut Shena means diminishing the amount of sleep a person sleeps. Now again, it doesn't say like yesterday, do not sleep, because a person cannot not sleep. A person has to sleep. But diminishing sleep is something which promotes learning Torah and attaining wisdom in a greater way for the following reasons. First, sleep, to those of us or anyone who's ever engaged in an excessive amount of sleep, is a waste of time. We're not talking about if someone's sick or someone's ill, but sleep is a waste of time. It's a way to kill time. It's a way to waste time in every fashion possible. Listen to something else Chachamim tell us. Sleeping is actually the most physical thing a person can do. What they mean by that is a person completely resorts to sleeping, which is completely physical, and their mind is off. Yes, we know there's a concept of dreams, but there's very little, if any, control of that, and our soul is returned to our Maker when we sleep, and therefore we are engaging in something which is 100% gashmi, 100% physical. And we know that the world that we live in is always a contrast between physicality and spirituality, and we try to overcome with our spirituality the aspects of physicality. So going to sleep completely gives into the concept of physicality. Another thing that is something that would shy one away from sleeping is sleeping, the Talmud tells us, is 1/60th of death. It's somewhat 1/60th of the taste of death. Again, because a person shuts down, at least in their spiritual manner, because they're getting and resorting all the way to a physical state. Now, sleeping, there's one more aspect which is interesting. Sleeping promotes laziness, which anyone who likes to sleep understands. Sleeping is actually better to be slept in small amounts rather than in one big shot. So if it's a power nap, and again, every person, you get your body used to different things. If it's a power nap, if it's sleeping, going to sleep early and then waking up early, or going to sleep late and waking up late, every person has to understand and know what's best for their body. But the body is, again, resorts back to habit, and if you train it properly, it will run as proper as possible. I'll end off with the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai said this over 100 years ago, and he said that the human body, the way it is physically created, and nowadays science and doctors have proven to say exactly what the Ben Ish Chai says. Listen to how fascinating this is. He says that a person, for their good health, should sleep no less than 6 hours a day. 6 hours is your target. And no more than 8 hours a day. He says anything over 8 hours, this is the Ben Ish Chai. Again, I'm sure he gets its source from the Rambam and from others, but he says clearly in this terminology, and I'll explain you the novelty that he does. He says anything less than 6 hours is not healthy, and anything more than 8 hours is not healthy. Now he adds one more twist. He says if a person diminishes their sleep, diminishes and sleeps less than 6 hours because they are taken away from that time to study Torah, in a physical manner, their body will not be harmed from doing so. So it should give us a little bit of chizuk, whether it's before we go to sleep, to learn a little something, or to wake up in the morning a little earlier to learn something. So it's not only taken away from work, as we said yesterday, but it's also taken away from sleep, and then we'll see the rest of them, Be'ezrat Hashem, as we go on. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.